Welcome to the Climate Water Outlook for November 2021 to January 2022. The chance of La Nina developing this year has increased, meaning we're likely to see a wet end to 2021. But first, let's look at recent conditions. October saw a number of severe storms across eastern Australia, including at least 5 tornadoes and the largest verified hailstones on record. Rainfall was above average in the north and west, as well as parts of the east coast, but below average across the Murray-Darling Basin and parts of the interior. Record-breaking heat has continued across the tropical north. Tennant Creek set its October record on 3 consecutive days. Victoria River Downs reached 44.9 on the 21st, the second highest October temperature ever recorded in the NT. And Darwin broke its record for their warmest October night, dropping to only 29 degrees on the 20th. Recent rains mean root zone soil moisture is average to above average across the Murray-Darling Basin, eastern Victoria, the Gascoyne region and southwestern WA. With wet soils and at least average rainfall, water storages across southern Australia have continued to fill. Storages in the Murray-Darling Basin and in southwest WA are much fuller than they were 12 months ago. Storage levels across coastal New South Wales, southern Victoria and Tasmania are also higher than they were last year. So what will influence our climate in the coming months? The tropical Pacific Ocean has continued to cool, raising the chance of La Nina developing this year. Models suggest further cooling is likely, meaning the Bureau has raised its ENSO outlook status to La Nina alert. This means there's around a 70% chance of La Nina forming this year. That's triple the normal risk. The negative Indian Ocean dipole event is expected to weaken during November. However, warm waters to the north and northwest of Australia may still act as a source of moisture for rain systems across Australia. As a result, November to January is likely to be wetter than average for much of the eastern two-thirds of the continent, but potentially drier in Western Tasmania. Our new extremes outlooks show an increased chance of unusually wet conditions. That's rainfall in the top 20% of historical records in southeastern Australia. Near medium to high stream flows are expected for most forecast locations through to December. Where soils and catchments are wet and stream flows are high, the outlook for above normal rainfall indicates an increased risk of widespread flooding, particularly in southeastern Australia. Turning to temperatures, November to January days are likely to be warmer than average across northern and western Australia, while parts of the New South Wales coast are likely to be cooler. Nights, on the other hand, are very likely to be warmer than average across the country. With warm water around northern Australia and the chance of La Nina, we're expecting an average to slightly above average number of tropical cyclones and tropical lows this northern wet season. While we can't predict the exact timing, size, intensity or location of any individual cyclone, we do know that in every season since records began in the 1970s, Australia has had at least one tropical cyclone cross the coast. So in summary, November to January is likely to see above average rainfall for much of Australia, warmer than average days for northern and western areas, near medium to high stream flows, with an increased risk of flooding in parts of the southeast, and average to slightly above average number of tropical cyclones. Thanks for joining us. You can find out more about the outlooks on the Bureau's website. We'll see you next time.